Someone has to be responsible. So I will be responsible. People think they know what I'm about. They think they know what motivates me. They don't know anything. I have a dream of a land of opportunity. Wrestling gave me everything I have in the world. I want that for other people. Egos out of control. I will burn down the forest to plant a new one. I'm not sentimental. I will do what has to be done. We will do what has to be done. We can see a better future, and we will make it happen. If you want to come with us, you can come with us. If you don't, run while you can. What is the new paradigm? It's very simple. What is the new paradigm? It's very simple. Get out of the way! Let me tell you something. Someone has to be responsible. Let me tell you something. Someone has to be responsible. So I will be responsible.
And good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Graps TV and The Sicko Show. I'm your host, the Matty Man. I didn't know if I was going to go live today or not. I wanted to talk a little bit about my thoughts on Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling and a couple of good things that came out of this weekend. And all of a sudden, just like out of the blue, Samantha Irvin resigns. And I'm like, okay, let me sit back and see how this is going to go for a few minutes. Suffice it to say, right now it's going exactly like I thought it would go. And for the record, I thought way back, that when Ricochet left, I thought it was just a matter of time. Contracts are something that WWE keeps on lock a lot of times. The only way you know something's going on with a WWE contract is if they want to highlight something they're going to sign. Like right now, they're highlighting Kevin Owens. Just a thought, Kevin. Expand your horizons, sir. It ain't done yet. I don't think it's done yet. If it were done, we'd already know about it because you know WWE is all that. Hey, how's it going over there? Give me just 1 second here, guys. That notwithstanding, there is so much to unpack in that one little announcement that I'm not even going to go as in depth on it as I want to. I'm going to save that for my Wednesday preview for Dynamite. And I put a note on my thing today to say, hey, Samantha, if you're watching, you're really going to want to watch this. And I kind of meant it. Now, I do want to say this. Samantha represents everything that's right with wrestling. She represents everything that was ever good about wrestling. Now, personal lives notwithstanding, I don't know it. I don't care to know it. If she cares to share it, I'll take a look at it. But very private person, except for a couple little posts I thought were really cool. Not in a fun way or anything like that. I thought it was really cool to open up and kind of share so people can get a feel for what's going on around and so on and so forth. Those are the ones that and I really make every effort in the world to appreciate things like that. When somebody bothers to share something that personal, and I think we all know which one I'm talking about, I thought, hey, that was really nice. Mostly, though, a private person. But from what I can see on the outside, I said the day that she debuted that she was everything that's right with wrestling. Got the voice, got the pipes, got the empathy. If you've got those three things, if you've got a voice, you've got pipes, and you've got empathy, you're automatically good enough to do the job. However, she always managed to take it one step further. Like when you thought she couldn't sell something any better, she just turned around and top it. And when Ricochet left, and we all knew at that point in time when we knew he was going to AEW, some people caught on quickly, but I remember that night when the profile basically got sanitized. I took a screenshot of it. I sent it to my buddies over at the Covalent TV, and I said, this looks like something interesting here. And the response was, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I knew right then and there it was just a matter of time. I didn't know when the contracts were up. I just knew that when I saw that completely scrubbed profile that something had happened. Now, today, this afternoon, this morning, irrelevant. Now we find out what all was going on. And I'm going to give a message out here since the hate is ridiculous at this point. I mean, there's hate. There's like, oh my God, who knew, who thought that? And then there's WWE drone hatred. The hatred for anything that is not WWE. Y'all want to know where you went sideways, by the way, since it's a very rare commodity in today's age. I don't talk much about my personal life because, quite frankly, I know how drones are, and I love my wife way too much to subject her to the crap that I get subjected to. When you love somebody, that's what you do. And you want to know what? She loves me back. A rare commodity in today's society is loyalty. I'm saying the quiet part out loud here, guys. I really am. And I said, look, if you watch this, I really hope you watch this, because this is what's really going to help you out in times like these, because the fallout on this so far has been nuclear, and it's only been a couple of hours. I'm surprised JD doesn't have something up talking about, she needed to go anyway. I'm surprised. I'm shocked that the podcasters that normally dick ride WWE, yes, that's exactly what I said, and it's exactly what I mean. If you don't like it, I don't give a damn. because you're just as big a part of the problem as anything. All of you are. And I realize I don't have the platform you've got yet. The platform is about to go live. And by the way, Lady Winter, you're more than welcome to have a show on that television station too. I said it, I mean it, that's fine. I saw some of y'all's work, I like it, it's pretty good. I do. And people deserve platforms that aren't bashing wrestling. Now, when I say that, I mean like the JDs, like the discos, like it, all of them. If your take on a situation begins with how this is why Tony's losing XYZ, you don't deserve a platform. You don't. Because it's people like you that create situations like this. I said a while back, when all of the talk was going on around Natalia. Now she follows me, I follow her. Um, we have polite conversations that I do not share, but if anybody ever wants to if you want me to take a screenshot of my DMs, they're there. We have a lot of conversations. So when the time came when they had contract negotiations with her, I specifically said, I don't care where you go, I will support you. And I've stood by that. She stayed in WWE. I have supported her work. I've supported her character. I have supported her in ring work. I have supported her promos because I support the actual wrestler. Now, one of these days, she may get tired of WWE and may want to be in developmental over in AEW because you know what? They could really use that brain. And I've said that probably 10 times so far. I've said at least 8 on the string. AEW could really use her brain because she understands the business on a level that no one does. Because she's got it from Stu, Brett, Owen, herself, her inspiration, her own experience. That is a woman that is valuable to the business. But my exact words were, it doesn't matter where you go, I will support you. And I have stood by that. Now, why is this more important? Because if Samantha Irving does wind up in AEW, first off, that would be a dream fulfilled. I would have, I'm going to tell you right now, that John Moxley, Bryan Danielson match, think about if they'd have had her calling it, her opening it up. That kind of emotion, the feeling you bring to something. Think about that for a minute. Imagine how much better the matches are when she opens them up. So, yeah, I mean, we were all talking about this the minute Ricochet left and all the hate left. But I'm going to tell you something else. This is where WWE drones lose it. This is why you have no social skills. This is why you have no grace. This is why you have no goodwill from me. You want to know what's and I haven't asked, I haven't floated it, I haven't done anything. I said all that to say this. I have a phenomenal wife. And there are some days that I know I'm batting way above my average and I'm hitting home runs. There are days that I fully realize that I'm batting way out of my league. I get it. Trust me. If anybody gets it, I got it immediately. You try to shit on me, she's your worst enemy. Give it your best shot. Because she says stuff to me all the time. How much longer are you going to put up with this? I'm like, baby, it's part of the business. It's part of what you do. If you do anything positive for anything that is not WWE, then you are automatically branded a traitor, an idiot. Oh, go watch whatever the hell they're calling the deficits now. All Empty Wrestling, I think, is the one I've seen so far that I thought was the funniest. I am 100%, I am 1,000% sure that 90% of this decision is how y'all talk to Ricochet. because I don't know Samantha, I've never met her, but just the way she carries herself like a real woman. And a real woman defends her man. Good men are hard to come by, trust me, they are. So when you get one, a good woman knows how to take care of a good man. And really, y'all WWE drones got nothing to blame but yourselves. Now, the other contract that I got sitting over here now that I got in the back of my mind is what y'all gonna do if Rhea doesn't sign on the dotted line? What kind of nuclear meltdown are you gonna come up with? What kind of childish antics are you going to spew? What kind of stupid, ignorant comments are y'all gonna make if she decides to sign with AEW? Let me explain something to you why that's important. And I'm gonna start with Samantha. Where do you go in that particular segment of business when you have talked in The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins in the same match? Where, as a ring announcer, do you go from there? Where do you go? Can you imagine the pop of her calling All In with some of the matches that Tony throws out there? Can you imagine Samantha Irvin calling one of Tony Khan's pay-per-views? Can you imagine how much harder that pay-per-view is going to hit? See, WWE knew they had lightning in a bottle, but they did just let the way they managed Ricochet govern their entire thing. They know, WWE knows this is a loss. This is not something that WWE is taking lightly, because I can tell you right now, we still got Justin Roberts. Y'all got not much. The lady on Thursday or Friday seems to be able to hold her own. I mean, I just, and you know what, for whatever reason, I've never said anything angry about her and I got blocked. I have no earthly idea. I've never said a bad thing about her and got blocked. So I don't get it. That notwithstanding, where is WWE in announce teams without her? I can tell you where they're at when it comes to pay-per-views. I can tell you right now, there's not another person on the roster that can carry the amount of work she carries. They know it. I know it. Now imagine Wrestle Dream being called by Samantha Irvin. Imagine All Out. This past All Out that we had with that kind of empathy and that kind of structure. That I don't want to know the matches. I want to feel them like everybody else does. Imagine that kind of creativity. WWE scared shitless. That's just not even a question. And people can say whatever they want. WWE today, this minute, this moment, they know good and damn well that they don't have it. Now they have good, but she's great. They don't have it. They're not deep in that line. They can't pick up the phone and have a JR come down and call a match. That's over with. You know, you've got what you're going to get for the next 5 years. Now, I don't know who they're going to replace her with, but whoever it is ain't going to be able to fill her shoes. You know that, and I know that. So I say all that to say this. There's one more contract that I am terribly interested in, and that's Rhea Ripley. Rhea, I know you don't listen to this either. That's fine. I'm good with it. Other people listen. Maybe they'll talk. Rhea, I'm telling you right now, if you go out and bet on yourself, you too can achieve this level of nuclear heat. You'll probably achieve it even faster. This level of nuclear heat, I have, wow, the drones were prepared for this one. But Samantha, thank you for everything you did. You made a product that I'm not particularly that crazy about, digestible. And honestly, without her there, what else you got now? And they know it and I know it. Way to know your worth. Way to explore your worth. Also, way to stand up for your man. Also, way to bet on yourself. Because we speculated on this. Once I dropped that little hint, I mean, it was the subject of the next show. And we were talking, it's like, Tony would probably give you carte blanche. He would probably give you the department. He would probably give you the hire and fire. He would probably give you anything you ask for, including money. So, sky's the limit here. And AEW is on the way up. Whether anybody likes it, doesn't like it, wants to admit it, you're going to have to cope and deal with the fact that AEW is here to stay. They're not going anywhere. Once they get on Max, once they get in front of 100 million people, the WWE can't stop them from looking at the product in the way, shapes, forms, and ideals that they currently use to make sure that there are less and less and less eyes on any product but WWE. It's just a matter of time before AEW gets where it needs to go. See, that was the part that everybody was grifting so hard about on the deal. It didn't have anything to do with the airtime. The airtime you can control. They were way more concerned about that Max deal than they were the television deal, all wrapped into one. Max is the only thing they gave a damn about. You want to know why they gave a damn about it? Because it's got 100 million subscribers. And out of those 100 million, if 1%, 1% of the subscribers stumble across AEW and like it, it's game over. What would happen if 5% stumbled across AEW and liked it? Max is their style. Max is their speed. If it were HBO standalone, it would really be their speed. Game of Thrones, oh my God. That is their viewer speed. WWE did not give a damn about airtime because WWE already had that nerfed. I'm going to cover that here in about 1 minute. The fact that AEW is getting time on Max is the scary part of this deal. This is why I tell you, a lot of these people who do, like the JDs, like the Bullies, like the Discos, like the Erics, Eric Moore especially, he has no excuse. He went to school. He knows better. He's just flat ass lying to you. You don't worry about the things you can control. You worry about the things you can't control. And as we've talked about, and as Covalent TV has talked about on the regular at this point, WWE has a deal in place with every venue that they go to. You don't get time if you're a wrestling promotion for 5 months after they're gone. That territory is dead. So yeah, attendance is not a shock to me. In fact, they're getting ready to run an NXT show up at the old ECW stadium. Guess what? That means AEW, that means that town's dead for AEW for the next 5 months because you can't promote anything. You can throw a show out there and promote it on television, but you can't promote it from the venue. So yeah, attendance does not strike me as odd. None of this surprises me because I'm paying attention to the rules. If you paid attention to the rules, you would be less sounding dumb and more sounding smart by saying, well, the only reason this is happening is because WWE has a business practice. Then you guys want to bellyache, bitch, and moan. I will confirm, because I usually wait for Covalent TV to confirm things before I'm 100% sure. They have insider information that a lot of these dirt sheets simply do not have. As soon as they confirm the story about cross promotions with AEW and so on and so forth, about having to sign something saying you will not immediately jump to WWE, yeah, that makes total sense. It's not petty. It's only petty if it never happens. If they're coming up with a problem that hasn't already occurred, then it's petty. But if they're addressing a problem that has occurred, and don't get me wrong, Stephanie Vakir or Vakir or however they're going to pronounce your damn name, I don't really care. I rock with you. I'm going to be a fan forever, but you did shitty business and you know you did shitty business. The entire world knows you did shitty business. So, yeah, I don't think having a protective clause for a cross promotional event is a big deal. When you got WWE riding around saying, okay, we're going to have a show, and you can't promote anybody else but us. Nobody's saying a fucking word about that. Nobody cares. Oh, well, it's just good business right there. I swear I've heard that 5 times. So WWE good, AEW bad, we got it. Samantha Irvin on her way out. The nuclear heat is... Guys, y'all got to find a life. Y'all got to touch some grass. Y'all got to get laid. I don't care what your orientation is. Get laid for a change or something. Do something with this energy. I am not even kidding. At this point right here, you are taking an icon and tearing her apart simply because she don't want to play ball with you no more, because probably she's tired of the way you talk about her husband, and she's probably not having marital issues, and she's probably not any of that shit that you're saying she is. I don't blame her. Hell, I'd go dark too. But if you want to know the main reason she's not coming back, that's probably it right there. I can narrow it down to 60,000 Ricochet posts I've seen in the last month. Just 60,000. Not 60, 60,000. And I'm not exaggerating that one little bit, and I'll guarantee you somebody in here rage watching me is one of those people. I said it. Rage watch me some more. I appreciate you. MLP this weekend, I thought day one was kind of slow, and Takesh just saved it with Speedball at the end. That match saved it on day one for me, so I'm just going to talk about the things I liked. Scott D'Amore had a reasonably good show for an opening show. Few things stood out at me that were not good. I'm not going to do a complete coverage. I did a live with night 2 last night. I was live for the whole pay-per-view, giving thoughts, watching along with everybody else, just sharing my thoughts. I'm going to do that. Excuse me. I'm going to do that again soon. I just haven't decided which one I'm going to do it with, because that was a lot of fun. I appreciated everybody that showed up. We had like 65 people in there. It was freaking awesome. So I'm not going to go into terrible detail on this. The 2 people that saved this entire pay-per-view for me was Takeshita and Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron saved bad segments last night by herself, single-handedly. You know? And I appreciate how things are going right now and all that, but now everybody's trying to speculate she'll go to WWE. I highly doubt it. I mean, I don't know her personally, but I highly doubt that that's her speed, because she's a little bit more than what WWE drones could handle, and she's way more woman than you guys are used to dealing with in the first place. And I say that respectfully to all the other women that are there, but she's got a talent you can't teach. And when you have a woman like that who's all that and a bag of chips, and they've got a talent you can't teach, that's a scary combination. I don't think WWE could handle it, because I don't care how they look at it. I don't think they could nerf her like they've nerfed everybody else. So I don't see that happening. But Harley Cameron single-handedly saved that segment with Bubba, because I think in 2024, Bubba probably did not need to be on a major league pay-per-view, especially not an inaugural show for something that big. We could have found another legend to do it with, and I feel comfortable saying that now, because I've had more than one set of analytical eyes on this show, and we all came up with the same thing. I feel comfortable with that. I didn't want to get too crazy about it, because it is Scott D'Amore, and I respect Scott D'Amore. I respect everything he does. This weekend was a little bit tricky for me. There were some good shows. There were some good matches. And it was worth the $30. I will say that. It was worth it for me for the $30. I would have paid $30 just for the Takeshita matches. I would have paid $30 for Harley Cameron to do what she did. I thought it was really cool. I thought it went together for that. The rest of the show, it kind of worked, and there are spots that worked for me and spots that didn't. When I get it all collected in my head, and I kind of feel like sitting down and having a fireside, which is what we're going to do, um, then for real, I'm going to get in depth and very, very personal about this, because if I'm planning on doing something similar to this down the road, I got to be able to look at it for what it is and not what I want it to be. And I cannot worship somebody for doing something they're supposed to do. But we'll get into that in a little bit more in depth, probably this weekend, depending on how the shows go. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I haven't decided whether I'm going to cover Bound for Glory. I doubt I'm going to, because nobody else is except for the TNA hopefuls and faithfuls and all that. Regardless, though, MLP delivered on a $30 scale. Now, what's going to take to get them to a $40 ticket for that kind of information? Probably going to take a couple of match tweaks. And Scott's a very smart man. I do not pretend to say anything that he hasn't probably already thought of. So I'm just going to keep all that to myself. I trust Scott D'Amore with the pencil a lot more than I trust Triple H, and I'm going to tell you that right now. It's just not even a question in my mind. There's a lot of people I trust with the pencil a whole lot more than I do Triple H. I trust Scott D'Amore to go back to the lab, make the tweaks that need to be made. I think he's probably heard enough feedback from enough people. My 2 cents is not appreciated, and that'll be fine. I'm good with that. I'm not one to heap coals on a fire. The show to me was good. I think Daryl described it very well last night when he said it's like levels to this thing. They're buildings and so on and so forth, and they turned out to be like a 5-story apartment complex, and they got to the 3rd floor. I think that leaves them enough room for the next show to grow from there. See, I don't always look at things as good and bad. I look at things as movable, transitional, or stop. And this show right here was very transitional for me. It left a lot of room. It was not a bad show overall. It was a good show for me overall, because I get to see certain aspects of the business that I normally wouldn't get to see. So overall, it was a good show. I think it was a transitional show. I think it left a lot of growing room, and I'm going to leave it at that. But Harley Cameron playing a heel this weekend was intriguing for me, and I probably said that 3 times in 3 different streams this week. But her playing a heel and then having the taped collision over there with her being a face and those playing almost simultaneously, you have absolutely no idea how much of a heavenly moment that was. And not from a look standpoint, but if you're a wrestling fan and you get the opportunity to see someone that you kind of admire working 2 different genres on 2 different platforms at the same time, and you can literally sit there and side by side compare them. Whoo, that was a treat. That was a treat for an analyst. It really was. That was a treat for me. And I will say this, there was a little bit on my mind when Graps TV was doing their Booker of the Year. Shout out to 21 in here. I was really close to, with the breakout show, I was very close to making Scott D'Amore my Booker of the Year, but this show did not deliver Booker of the Year vibes to me. It delivered, we've got something here, and I left room to grow vibes with me. A lot of loose ends with this show, because there's some storyline in there, but with an inaugural show, you're not going to have any noticeable storylines, so you kind of have to dig for the storyline between the people that are booked and how it is. You get a general idea for where they're going with the booking. He did give you a little bit of a look at the book from night 1 to night 2, from the Bully Ray and Maharaja match, and how that ended, to booking it into a tag team match the next night before. He gave us a little bit of an idea of how he's going to book. And to me right now, that's standard stuff. And a lot of people, and I agree, thought night one was really a TNA style night, and I need him to develop something that you can't imagine with another promotion that he's worked with. That was literally the only difference between Tony Khan, Scott D'Amore as Booker of the Year. Now I threw in New Japan's Booker because that's a notable mention. New Japan is rising from the ashes as we speak, and that's not an easy task considering how far they fell. So there was a consideration for that, for the refurbishment of the roster and the storylines there. It was a consideration. But at the end of the day, Tony Khan got Booker of the Year because I've already got a feeling Full Gear is going to be loaded. He's got a loaded Dynamite coming up. He's got a loaded Collision coming up. The shows are getting infinitely better. They're not getting worse. Like I said, attendance and all that other stuff right there, attendance and viewership. When you have a juggernaut actively working against you, I'm not going to take points off because you can't fill a building, because you're not allowed to book, because WWE was just there. I'm going to let that go. The ratings I expect to pick up. Now, after last week's Dynamite, I do not understand what the problem is. It was a balanced show. Collision was balanced. But Dynamite was a really balanced show, and it had promos. It had everything in it that WWE fans claim that AEW does not have. So I don't understand where the numbers are coming from. If this is what you want to see and he gives it to you, why don't you go watch it? Why? Because it's AEW. Why? Because WWE told you it wasn't good to watch. Why? Because you believed it. Why? Because you're stupid. You're moldable. You're suggestive is the technical term that's used for it. You are a suggestive person. That means people don't have to work to get you. They just have to suggest the right thing, and it just has to click with your brain, and that's it. They don't have to give you anything. They don't have to give you better than what you already have. If they just get that suggestive moment in your head, it's over with. They can hand you a pile of cow shit, and you will go, this is awesome, until you're blue in the face, and if that doesn't work, you'll be going, we want tables. I swear, you are that person. You are targeted. You are that person. If you don't like that, I don't care. Go see a shrink. You need help. I will say though, I'm going to miss Samantha calling those Roman Reigns entrances, and I'm going to really miss that Cody Rhodes entrance, because Cody is a ham. He plays into it, and believe it or not, I'm not saying this to be mean about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is kind of a ham too. And they just kind of lean into that shit. So I got to say, the one thing I'm going to miss in WWE is her calling them into the ring. Because both of them understood the assignment, got with the program, sold it really well, bought into the way she was presenting it, really just fed into it. Just two people feeding into each other at one time to make a great moment. I'm going to miss that. Now, anybody says they don't miss that, you're stupid. I don't care. I'm not going to shit on her work because the product bothers me. Her work in the ring is not the problem. The problem is everything after the bell rings and before the next bell rings. That's the problem. Got nothing to do with her calling them in. She does it expertly. And I'm going to enjoy hearing her wherever she goes. You know what? If Samantha decides she does not want to go to AEW, I'm not going to be that guy that goes, oh, you're turning it down. No, I'm not going to be that guy. I'll be happy. I will follow wherever she goes, because I think she exponentially makes things better just with her presence. There are people in this world that make life good just by being there. And she is one of them. And quite frankly, if you're one of those people that's hating on her right now, frankly, I hope you have car trouble on the way home. I promise you that. I mean it. I hope karma walks up and kicks you in the nuts, or kicks your ass so hard that you will have to actually examine your life to figure out what you did wrong. I hope that happens. I really do. I mean every word of that. I mean every space, letter, syllable, punctuation mark, and everything of that. There is not one part of that comment I do not wholeheartedly mean and will stand before God and say, yep, I meant it. So, that notwithstanding, we got a couple of matches. We got one match that I'm interested in tonight. One. Because the rest of them I've already seen 10,000 times. And please, for the love of God, I think that one happens on Friday where we have like the Melo Andrade Game 7, what the fuck ever, pointless feud. That's fine and dandy. I'm trying to decide how I want to call this match. Part of me thinks that Braun Breaker goes over Jey Uso because I think that Rikishi is finally satiated that Jay's got some singles gold. And maybe he understands the program that Jay's needed for this bloodline thing that just will never end. This bloodline story will never end. They will come up with new Samoans everywhere, every day, every time. And about the time they get to round 3, maybe the rest of y'all will be just as tired of it as most of us were after round 2. So I'm not 100% sure I want to see Jey Uso lose the title because I don't think that does him any favors. I don't think this is the moment or the time for WWE to be doing hot swaps on the title. I mean, 90% of probably why he won the title in the first place is because Rikishi was bitching about it, and that's it. You know, it is what it is from that standpoint. But I do believe this match should get a fairly decent amount of time, and I am still picking Jey Uso to be your winner tonight. I think Braun Breaker eats another L because they got him under contract for a long damn time. We got a long ways to go before we get him all the way down and then bring him all the way back up the WWE way. And shout out, Freshen Up Energy, Cosmic Snacks. I want to take a moment to shout them out because that is also news right here. We have a sponsorship. We have agreements. We're dealing with we're discussing the business aspects of it now. They want to work with me. I want to work with them. It's really good product, something I can get behind, something I can move. Cosmic Snacks is going to be your CBD product that relaxes you and helps you focus. There are different blends of CBD. They are very well. It's veteran owned, veteran supported, the whole 9 yards. Freshen Up Energy is a brand new way of doing it. They're actually using the correct can size, so shout out to them. A lot of these other energy companies are using those tiny Red Bull cans and still charging you $3. I ain't having that. We're not doing that. Freshen Up Energy is going to give you more for your money. It's going to be good value. It's going to be sensible. It's going to be safe, and it's going to actually do what it says it does. And I don't think that's too hard. Those are my sponsors. I can't forget to mention them about every half hour. That's the only thing that's new that's going to change about the format of my show. I will shout out my sponsors all day, every day, because they're taking just as much a risk with me as I'm taking with them. So I'm going to give them 100% because they're giving me 100%. That's how it works. And that's how it should work. Great guys. Coming in hot. The rest of Raw, I mean, if it goes the way it went last week, we got 21 minutes and some change of wrestling last week. And since I'm 100% sure that Braun Breaker and Jey Uso are going to suck up at least 10 minutes of that by themselves, that doesn't leave an awful lot of work time for anybody else. So it'll probably be some squash matches, and that's how it's going to work. I'm calling it here first. WWE had a hard enough time operating under a 3-hour schedule. 2 hours is absolutely choking the product because Hunter refuses to change. The show that he had previously would have been better booked than a 2-hour show, but he refuses to give up all the vignettes and all the recaps and all the everything else. So the wrestling actually suffers. We're still going to get all the time of recaps and vignettes that we were going to get in the 3-hour show. The wrestling is what's going to be affected. Now, the average WWE fan doesn't seem to care about wrestling, and every time it's ever been asked, it's 100% sure that they're like, well, wrestling's cool and all that, but what about the show? So, I mean, it is what it is. That's the only match I'm even reasonably invested in tonight for WWE Raw. I want to close the show out with something I'm thinking about, and this is another one that I know doesn't watch me, but it would be cool if she did because this is some good advice and it's free advice. Rhea, go bet on yourself. Buddy Matthews doing just fine down in AEW. His push is just fine. He does not need to move and come back to WWE and be in that stagnant environment that he was in when he left. Now, people shit on Buddy Matthews as well. But if you made that move, if you made that jump from WWE to AEW, I can think of 15 marquee matches you could have next year. You would have so many marquee matches, there aren't enough pay-per-views to fill them up, and you will have never wrestled the same person twice. Why is that important? Name a title that Rhea Ripley has not won. And don't say that janky-ass North American women's title over there, because I don't want Rhea Ripley going over there just to win it, to claim that that gives this, that, and the other, and a third. No, it doesn't. What's left for Rhea Ripley? They got her in a half-ass feud right now with Liv Morgan. She could bend her in half and break her like a toothpick. Dominic Mysterio is not all that in a bag of chips. He is a very beta male, so she could probably break him in half like a toothpick. There's nothing there physically for her. All it is a war of words and to see how things are going to go over. And I think she's finding that out too, because if you dare go against... oh my God, just watch me. Yeah, if you dare go against her, Liv Morgan, her drones are the worst fucking drones I've ever seen in my entire life. And I think Rhea Ripley's figuring that out too. I think the drones are actually going to run off some of your best superstars. And you know who created those drones? Triple H. You created this. You built this. Now live with it. Because in all honesty, my guy, the only person you got to blame for this one is you. It just is the way it is, man. Dynamite, I'm going to have a Dynamite preview show on Wednesday, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail than this. It's just the fact that when Samantha Irvin said that she was leaving WWE, I knew I had to do a stream. And I was trying to figure out exactly what the rest of the stream theme was going to be. I've got a better one coming on Wednesday. Got a lot to work with on that. Dynamite is stacked, packed, and tracked already. It's good. But I did want to close the show out by just leaving that little word there, because I know some of y'all rage watch me. I know at least 3 or 4 of you rage watch me, and I'm just dying for you to just go out there. This dude done said Rhea Ripley could leave WWE. Ha, ha, ha. I really want you to get that out there. That's why I say shit like that. Because I know I have people that rage watch me, and I know I have people that hate watch me. And you are the guys that actually put the information out. You're programmable. If you don't, I will by the end of the day anyway. So you might as well get a jump on me so you can act like you knew something. How about that? I'll make a deal with you. You can act like you knew something for about 5 minutes, and I won't post until 10 o'clock tonight. If I haven't seen it by 10 o'clock, I'm going to post it my damn self. Rhea Ripley. Your husband's doing just fine in AEW. AEW has a custom-made, tailor-made spot for you in their women's division. Imagine you, Chris Statlander, Camille Brickhouse, Nyla Rose. They have a custom-built division for you. You will not be fighting Hooters girls for the rest of your life. But you got to be willing to bet on yourself. You got to be willing to take a chance. You got to be willing to say, you know what, WWE? This isn't goodbye, see you later, and go out and bet on yourself. You are by far and away a better performer than the last 10 people that have gone out and bet on themselves. You would be a megastar. Zack Ryder has made quite a paycheck for himself. You could double that. And Samantha Irvin could double what she gets paid. Triple it, I'm going to say. Because WWE doesn't treat its ring announcers like they're very important in the first place. And that's been painfully obvious. Whenever she tried to think for herself, it's painfully obvious. And you know what, Rhea? Whenever you've tried to think for yourself, it's painfully obvious that WWE does not respect you. So I would give them the old, it's not goodbye, it's see you later, and I'd be out the damn door as soon as your contract leaves. Now, will she do that? No. Doubtful. I don't know. Part of me says doubtful. Part of me says I don't know. Part of me says not a chance in hell, because WWE will back up the Brinks truck this time like they should have the last time, like they should have when she started going over in this nuclear kind of manner. For those of y'all who don't know, Rhea Ripley's reported income was $250,000 a year, plus 50% of her merch. Now, she's got a high selling merch stuff, but there are people that are not on her level pulling $600,000 a year plus 50% merch. And you know what? That extra $350 makes a difference. It really does. Shows how you're respected, shows how you're treated. It makes a difference. So, with that being said, Rhea, if you went out and bet on yourself tomorrow, not that you could, I don't think your contract's up tomorrow, but when your contract comes up, if you go out and bet on yourself, if you go out and become that problem, I'm telling you right now, whatever WWE is offering you, I want you to listen to this very closely. Whatever WWE is offering you, you make twice as much as that just doing limited indie dates. Limited. And if AEW were to actually sign you, they'd pay you twice as much. Because there's certain thing called value, and you bring value to the television. There's levels to this shit. You bring a different level of this to the women's division. You are a completely different, you're your own tier at WWE. You are your own person at WWE. You'd blend in quite well with AEW, though. If there's like 3 or 4 of you in the same division, that shit would hit, and you know it. You've got 4 matches you could walk out the door of and make them signature matches. You could do that. But all you got to do is have enough guts to bet on yourself. And yes, I did say guts, because this is something nobody will tell you. 1, because they're scared, or 2, they don't care. I do care. I'm telling you right now, if you have the guts to go bet on yourself, now is the time. Your stock is high, as we can tell. They've got some issues, so it would actually benefit you to go ahead and pass on. Just go ahead and pass on whatever deal they've got. Now I'm going to try something different for a couple of years. Deuces. Then watch how the WWE machine goes. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all joining me today, all 22 of you. The numbers are going up, and I really appreciate that. If we could like, comment, share for the next show. I'm going to be here Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Then I'll probably be here Saturday right after, and so on and so forth. We could like, comment, share. I mean, you know, we had 63 people in the stream last night, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you. We got 23 today. I couldn't be happier. This is basically a pop-up. I didn't give you 30 minutes notice. It's not bad. But I'm giving you a lot of notice for this next one because it really matters. I really want to start bringing this up. And also for my sponsors, too. I want them to get as many looks as possible here. We're talking Cosmic Snacks for your D9, your Delta 9 product, also Delta 8 product for CBD. And we're talking about Freshen Up Energy, the only real energy out there on the block right now. The best energy, the only energy right out there. I want them to definitely see a return on their investment. So how about helping me out? You know, I'd appreciate it. But as it stands, I will be watching Monday Night Raw tonight because, you know, I'm a sadomasochist, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I got to be a sadomasochist to watch this show tonight because I have a feeling the fuckery on this show is going to be absolutely just unpalatable. I mean, it's probably going to turn my stomach. But it's all good. It's all good. Y'all drones just keep being drones. And when you get done running all the good things you have out of the company because you can't be happy for people. I told you so. And I don't care how that tastes going down. Not one fucking bit. I told you so. Y'all keep it up. Y'all keep droning like you drone. Y'all keep making an ass out of yourself 24/7. Please and thank you. Keep doing that. Pretty please. Keep making an ass out of yourself, and we'll just keep enjoying the spoils of your labor. So that said, let's try to have some fun with Monday Night Raw tonight. We're definitely going to have fun with Dynamite. But let's try to have fun. Let's try to remember why we're here. And it's only going to be a 2-hour show, which means it'll be off by 10. Maybe I can be in bed by midnight after all the shows are off. But anyway, I digress a little bit. Thank you for giving me a part of your day. I really appreciate that. This has been Graps TV and The Sicko Show. I'm your host, the Matty Man, and I just want to say good afternoon, America. Wherever you are, take care and God bless.
Let me tell you something. Someone has to be responsible. So I will be responsible. Okay. People think they know what I'm about. They think they know what motivates me. They don't know anything. I have a dream of a land of opportunity. Wrestling gave me everything I have in the world. I want that for other people. Egos out of control. I will burn down the forest to plant a new one. I'm not sentimental. I will do what has to be done. We will do what has to be done. We can see a better future, and we will make it happen. If you want to come with us, you can come with us. If you don't, run while you can. What is the new paradigm? It's very simple. What is the new paradigm? It's very simple. Get out of the way! Let me tell you something. Someone has to be responsible. Let me tell you something. Someone has to be responsible.